Hi, my name is Mercurial Sarah, and I will be pulling cards for the signs for the week ahead. So let's get started. Aries, you have the King of Wands reversed. So it looks like you're going to probably have a lot of decisions to make, and you might not make the right decision this week. This is because Saturn is entering Aries, and this might give you some lethargy or some sort of contemplation. So it seems like you're supposed to be making a decision, but you possibly will not be making any decision because there's kind of like some relaxedness going on, or some sort of too much of like a decision that cannot really be made right now. Taurus, we have the Two of Cups. This is usually a card that is just spilling tea with someone, and also the friendship card as well. Just because banter and gossip and things like that have the potential to make our minds at ease and to make our life a little bit better, even in like a health-wise way. Like we might feel very supported within our groups. So this might be a time for you when you are literally just getting drinks with someone and you feel very like attached to another person that ends up helping you, because we see like the Hermes sword here called the caduceus or caduceus or something like that, and it's usually about health. So this is about, again, but usually when I pull this card, I coffee with someone that day unexpectedly sometimes, or I know I'll get drinks with someone later that day and I'll pull this card and it's like, great, we're gonna have a great conversation. So it's usually just about having a conversation with someone who is your equal. We have Gemini. So it seems like you might be leaving somewhere, Gemini, from more crazy waters to less crazy waters. So this is just a place of reprieve or retreat. This is also just going from a bad place to a good place, either with a physical world, like you're going from one situation to the next situation. So leaving something behind basically, or going from one place to the next. But this is some sort of departure somewhere. Cancer, we have Temperance. This is my favorite card because it's experienced wisdom, or wisdom that you actually know what you're saying. And this is usually about healing someone as well. So you might be healing someone with your words. Someone might be emotionally pouring into you and you get to emotionally pour out in a way that makes sense. So you kind of get to organize someone's emotions for them. But this is a card of like godliness. It's an angelic card. So you might be like someone's saving grace this week. You might be someone's kind of like light of their life or something like that, but you definitely are going to be a huge asset to someone this week, or a very big helper. For Leo, we have the Queen of Swords reversed. So this might be about you having some sort of decision to be made, but again, there's going to be some sort of hesitancy going on, or something that you don't really want to do, but you're forced to do it, or something like that. But this is usually a card that has to do with intellectualism, but when it's reversed, it's kind of like hesitancy or nervousness as well. So this might be a very nervous, anxious week for you, especially because people might be looking up to you to make a decision, but you don't really know which decision to make. I would strongly advise for you to get the advice of other people, not necessarily use their advice, but just to kind of like see what else other people are thinking about. For Virgo, we have the Two of Pentacles reversed. Don't cheat this week, Virgo. And then also maybe not affiliate yourself with cheaters, because usually when the Two of Pentacles, it's kind of like juggling two things at once, and you might be doing it with ease, but that's this. This is going to be you're not doing it with ease. There might be some sort of disloyalty that you have with your career this week, or even with like a significant other or something like that. But I do feel like this week is going to be a little bit challenging for you in a way where you're forced to have fun. So you are kind of like in a space where you should be having fun, but you might not really be having fun with it. For Libra, we have the Nine of Swords. So this card can mean many things. It could just mean that you are staying late at night to your job or to your work, or because of period cramps or some sort of soreness in the body. It could also mean that there's a reason why you're not sleeping. So this can be emotional reasons or physical reasons, but this does really show a lack of sleep, and that can cause, hormonal dysregulations, everyday kind of irritability. There's many different things that lack of sleep causes in our day-to-day lives. So this just might mean that you are not, this may mean that you are just not getting good sleep this week. And you might be thinking way too much at night. So make sure to keep that melatonin by your bed today. Scorpio, we have the Five of Wands reversed. This is about fighting in public or fighting with your boss. So there might be an argument that you have with someone in public, but you might be on like the losing side of it because this is kind of like losing a battle and this is kind of like winning a battle, but it's also reversed. So again, it could be about an internal battle or an internal argument that you're having with yourself that might have to do with your career, your reputation. The sun is moving into Gemini this week. This might even be about your way of living, your lifestyle, your medication regimes. The sun is moving into Gemini, is your 8th house. So there might be like a lack of support that you have been given, and there is some sort of like lopsidedness within your relationship. But again, doesn't have to mean that it's a romantic relationship, because this isn't usually like a romantic thing, or that you're forced to kind of like change your situation or something like that. So this is an interesting time for you. But Saturn is moving into your 6th house, and Saturn makes you take those places very seriously wherever it transits into. So your health, your work, that might be very serious. And there might be some sort of obstacle or battle that you're fighting eternally because of that. Sagittarius, you have the Four of Swords. So this is usually a time where you are staying at home. Like, it does just mean kind of like inertia in a way, where it's like kind of stopping. So you might have been on the road, so you're getting somewhere, and then this week you just kind of have to stay stable, kind of like stay firm in a sense. So this might be like a lack of going somewhere. So you might have had plans to travel or go out somewhere this week, and it just kind of like follows through, or that you just don't, like it falls through, like you don't go, and you stay at home. But this can also mean that you're having like a really great time at home and you just want to stay at home. And Capricorn, this is the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So the Wheel of Fortune reversed is kind of like, the decision to make because you can see your destiny clearly. Whereas the Wheel of Fortune upright is like you don't really know what's going to happen and anything can happen. This is like you have your eye on something and that you understand something. So this is a really good card when it comes to making the right decision in terms of like what you know about the situation. So this is kind of like pushing forward towards something, towards your goal. Also look at, they're all reading. So this is also like a card of intelligence as well. Fortune in esoteric thought is to do with the body. So this also might be with your body for some reason, or something to do with like the physical world. So you might make the right decision on what medication to take, or you might be kind of like rotating your life around in order to fixate on the right destiny and the right that you actually want to acquire in this world. Because the Wheel of Fortune reversed is honestly a lot better than the Wheel of Fortune upright. This is all chaos ensuing. This is the tornado that just kind of like makes everything chaotic in order for things to fall in its place. This is you control the tornado, you control what's going on. So or you're kind of like steering your wheel in a sense. Aquarius rising. The Nine of Cups reversed. This is kind of like the humility card. So you might be humbled this week, or that you might have to realize that you don't have all your ducks in a row and that you need to organize your life around. There also might be things that you feel like you lack or things that you feel like you need more of. And this can be, again, the week where you start to realize that you should be making more of yourself, or that there are some things that you're lacking or that you don't have in your life that you want. Then we have Pisces. So Pisces, you guys got the Page of Pentacles upright. And this is a fascinating card because this is the card of new job, new adventure, new source of income, new fascination, new sense of self-worth. This is a really great card. So Pisces, this is going to be a huge week for you because Saturn leaves the sign of Pisces, and Saturn is about all the weighted reality and things that Pisces doesn't really understand naturally, but Saturn has taught you guys probably about how to integrate yourself in society in a way that is makes sense, in a way that you can kind of contribute to society and in a way that makes sense, in the way that you can, Pisces Saturn people have gotten their Saturn return, and many of them have turned to esoteric wisdom or to something that they know that they can do, either if that's computer sciences and something completely intellectual, or something that's as far off course as Reiki healing and things that aren't really taken seriously. The Pisces and Saturn people have found their niche no matter what, because Pisces in a chart really makes someone very imaginative and very unique and kind of like in different hemispheres, even if they're in the same room as someone else. So again, this is kind of like finding your strength again, or finding what works again. So this is a really great card for the Pisces. This can also mean that you go on a date with someone younger than you, or that you are the younger person in the room, especially because there's so much obligation that's being released from you at this time, that this kind of like a playtime for you, especially from May to September, because Saturn is not going to be in Pisces during that time, but Saturn will be in Pisces from September until February of 2026. So again, the responsibilities are not yet gone from you. They never will be, in fact, because we all have Saturn placed in our chart somewhere, but this is going to be a less burdensome time coming towards you. But in order for you to kind of do the burdens and the responsibilities a little bit better when the time comes. Thank you very much for watching. Again, this is based on your rising sign, and I do believe that these cards have some sort of correspondence with the life that you're living. These cards are not random. Nothing is random. So if I got this card, you might want to do some sort of internal search or some more research on what the card means. Thank you very much.